Hello boys and girls, welcome to my channel. I'm for Classic and welcome to Baby Steps. So this game, I'm using the demo version in here, so this is subject to change in the final version, and the final version will only come out in like 2 or 3 weeks, judging by the time of the video, okay. This was supposed to get released yesterday though, but they decided to delay the game a little bit more further. So you might be thinking, what the hell am I watching in here? So Baby Steps, it is a kind of video game that resembles a little bit of the Goat Simulator or Squirrel with a Gun, in the sense of the way that it is funny and the way that the world it is constructed and the objectives and everything. But on the objective in here, it is to make your character walk. Okay, and it seems really simple because in regular games, the only thing you need to do is press a key or just turn the analog to the upper side of the analog and your character will just walk. Well, that's not the case with Baby Steps. Baby Steps, you need to press forward, just like any other game, but it's sensible. Okay, so if you press too much, your character will just land on the floor, and if you barely press, probably it's not going to walk. And apart from that, I mean, in conjunction with that, I mean, you need to press the triggers from the gamepad, assuming that you are playing with the gamepad. I'm not sure how it works with the keyboard and mouse, but with the gamepad, I need to press the triggers where each trigger corresponds or matches each leg or feet of our character. So every time I do a step in here, what I'm actually doing is pressing the analog forward and and pressing the trigger to just make our character walk. It seems very simple, but at the same time it is quite complex because your character refuses to use shoes. It's in a very complicated kind of environment and is always landing on the floor. So what's the objective behind this? I think it's just to climb this big mountain, and every time you climb there is interactions with NPCs, funny ones to be honest, and that's just about that. So with this I didn't talk about the performance, so I'm playing with 1080p maximum settings, and with this setting you can expect a frame rate well above 60, so no problems whatsoever in here. This is not a demanding game when it comes to VRAM or even GPU. Regarding the engine, I think it is using Unity engine, and so I already moved on to 1440p. So this time around with 1440p, my recommendation it is to use upscaling to quality. Okay, I'm not entirely sure what kind of upscaling it is being used in this game because it's not really specified if it is FSR, if it is just TAAU, if it is Intel XeSS. It's not really specified what it is being used, but what I do know is that it even at 1440p using upscaling it is quite noticeable and usable. Okay, but despite all of that, this is my recommendation. If you want to stick your frame rate above than 60, it is to just use 1440p high settings. The high settings is actually the maximum you can go in this game, and use upscaling to quality mode. Yeah, it doesn't look as good as native, but I mean, it's the only way to go if you want to keep your game above than 60. Okay, so the next test it will be with 1440p, but without any upscaling solution. So I'm just using native AA, and by using this the performance is still pretty good, above than 60 for the most part, but there will be moments where your frame rate won't be enough, okay, and it will drop below than 60. There are many people that aren't really sensible to this, so you can go with 1440p maximum if you belong to that type of people, or if you use kind of a VRR screen like FreeSync monitor screen, it will probably work very well for you. So when it comes to 4K, my recommendation it is to go with median settings and use the performance upscaling. So one of the things that I immediately noticed is there is less grass on the median settings, and there we go, through the grass. And it seems that there is less objects or more popping. I didn't really notice too much of a difference on the shadows. Um, but there is clearly a difference in ambient occlusion, for example. But I mean, apart from that, the performance is just brutal. I mean, you are easily getting above than 60, many times above than 100 frames per second. So it's a setting which is pretty easy to run, to be honest. So there we go. Okay, so this is my recommended one if you play at 4K. So another setting which you can try to play, it is to play with TI settings, but using upscaling to balanced. So this should be something in between the 1080p and 1440p, and performance really holds up above than 60 for the most part, but there are some moments where it can drop. I think it's more stable than the 1440p maximum settings, in my opinion. So despite it can drop, it seems that it should drop less, but still you can expect to see some drops below than 60 in some occasions. And to be honest, I'm not really sure how is the rest of the environments of the game. So it's a little bit hard to decide, but don't expect a perfect 60 frames per second by using 4K high settings on balanced upscaling, unless there is some extra optimizations being done for the final version of the game, since this is the demo version. And of course, as usual, let me just show you how the game looks at 4K maximum settings. Oh my god, I'm falling! And so it will the performance. So here it is, the last setting. It's essentially again 4K high, AA native, and yeah, 30 frames per second as expected. And even to make things worse, it can drop below than 30. Okay, that's one thing that you should know. I don't recommend to play baby steps with these settings and frame rate, since you have the option to have something performing better. Okay, and baby steps, it's not really the type of game that probably you will be wanting to have as much graphical fidelity as possible, because I mean, baby steps, it's a rant game, it's a game to have fun, it's a game to laugh, it's a game to stress it out, because you need to access complicated stuff like you are watching in here. And so it's a game that probably want more performance, it's a game that probably want to have fun and not appreciate every detail of the rocks or the trees, because it's not really the game for that. Okay, that's the thing. So it's a game where you want to have performance. Okay, that's why you should actually choose. If you play at 1080p, just use maximum. If you play at 1440p, use high with upscaling. And if you play at 4K, my recommendation again, it is to play at median with upscaling on performance. All these settings should provide a very, very good experience. And if you play with a 60Hz monitor, save a little bit your system from heat and noise and power draw, and just use VSync and lock the game to 60 frames per second and enjoy the ride. Okay, so I will let you enjoy a little bit of extra gameplay for me trying to get that apple on the tree. So wish me luck with this. Hope to see you in the next video. And thank you a lot for watching, and again, hope to see you soon. Goodbye.
Pear. Oh, is that a boss? Yes. Oh, God, that pear was good. Yes, so sweet. The skin was so snappy. Pear!